Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys Game Collectibles. And today we are looking at the 1987 release by Dapol from their Doctor Who series of action figures and playsets. And this 1987 was the year before the 25th anniversary, and Dapol was commissioned by the BBC Enterprises to produce action figures and playsets for the upcoming 25th anniversary season, which obviously at the time Sylvester McCoy was the current Doctor. Now they did a variety of action figures, and they also done a variety of Daleks, and we've got 3 different versions in front of us here today which we are looking at. Okay, so this is the card that they come on. Now they all came on the same card, they were all the same part number, but there was a variety of different colours. Now okay, let's take a look at the card itself. So the card says Doctor Who, and on the top right hand corner you've got the image of the TARDIS flying through the bubble, which was taken from the opening credits from the Sylvester McCoy era of Doctor Who. And it says Dalek features pullback action, movable gun, socket arm and eyepiece. And you've got an image of a white Dalek with gold slates and spheres. Barcode at the bottom, which is all the same for all different Daleks, and the part number W8 is the same for all of them as well. And you've got the Dapol logo at the back, at the bottom I should say. Okay, so, and we have here 3 different coloured versions of the Daleks. So we've got the red and gold Dalek, we've got the grey and blue Dalek, and we've got the red and black Dalek. Okay, so that's the front of the cards with the Daleks in them. Let's turn the cards around and just have a look at what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the cards around to the back and you can see that they're all the same. So it starts off, so you've got the TARDIS flying through the bubble again, as it is in the opening credits from the Sylvester McCoy era of Doctor Who. And it says Doctor Who from Dapol, and you've got other items available, collect them all. It says Ace W14, Doctor W1, Melanie W2, Dalek W8, Tetrap W3, Cyberman Mark 5 W9, Davros W15, TARDIS Police Box W5 available separately. 25th anniversary set contains a TARDIS 5-sided console, Doctor in grey coat, Melanie in pink shirt, and K9. As a caution, contains small parts unsuitable for children under 36 months, and made in Winsford, England. And you got copyright BBC 1987, licensed by BBC Enterprise Limited, Tetrap, copyright BBC, Pip and Jane Baker, Dapol, Winsford, Cheshire. Okay, so that's the back of the cards. Let's turn them back round to the front and have a good look at the Daleks themselves. Okay, so I've turned the cards back round to the front, and there you can see we have got a variety of different colours here. Now, Dapol did produce quite a lot of different coloured Daleks. So apart from the 3 we've got here, there was also a black Dalek with silver, black Dalek with red, silver Dalek with silver slats and spheres. There was a white Dalek with gold spheres, and I think they also did a Millennium Blue Dalek as well. So there was quite a different coloured Daleks that were all produced. These sets we're looking at, though, are specifically to the 1987 release, the very first release. Now, they're all basically the same. All the Daleks were exactly the same size, same dimensions, just different colours. Now, as you can see, these 3 are actually sealed inside the box, inside the packs. However, I do have one for my collection, which is exactly the same as these 3. Obviously, mine's a little bit worn where it's been handled and moved around and so on. So, but other than that, it's all exactly the same. And this is a black Dalek with the silver slats. Okay, and they all measure the same, which if we measure from the bottom of the wheel to the very top of the head, you're looking at 10 centimetres. And if we measure the widest point on the base, which is 6 centimetres, although if we go from the the plunger to the back of the top of the Dalek, we're looking at 7 centimeters. Or if we go from the end of the plunger to the end of the skirt at the bottom, we're looking at 8.5 centimeters. And width-wise, we are looking at 4.5 centimeters. Now they've all got this little steering mechanism at the front, so however you turn it and steer it decides which way the Dalek goes when you pull them back and release them. So they are pulled back. You pull them back and you can see the wheels go. I don't think it's going to work on this. Yeah, on the base we got, it doesn't actually go very well because we're in a booth, so it does go a little bit, but there we go. But as you can see, that's what happens. They all spin around. Now, some of these Daleks had Dapol printed on the bottom. My particular version doesn't. Let's just see if the others did. No, there's nothing. Oh yes, this. I don't know if you can just see that. I'll just add a little bit of light in there, so to see if you can see. But this one has got Dapol printed on the bottom, just along here. It says Dapol, and if you can see that in the light, I'm trying to get that. Yeah, so there you go. So you can just about see it in the light there. So that one does have Dapol on it. The grey one also has Dapol printed on the bottom there. And as do this one. So all 3 of these have got Dapol printed on it, and that one's a grey base, as you can see. This one is also a grey base, and this particular one is a black base. So again, different colour bases, and my one is also a black base, but my one for some reason doesn't have Dapol on them. Some did, some didn't, and I've got no idea as why. Okay, so the top of the head rotates, as with all of these Daleks, and the eye stalk can go up and down. So you can model them and pose them however you like. Now, the gun and the sucker arm are on balls, so they can rotate in the section. So you can move them to side, you can move them up and down, or you can rotate them. And that goes for the gun and the sucker arm. And you can see it's just like they are in the TV series. Their guns and sucker arms didn't move very well, and these are no different. The Daleks, because it's all on a ball joint, they're very, very well done, so that you can move them and you're not going to break the gun or pull it out. But the movement is a little bit limited to what they can actually do. So that is the Dapol Daleks. Now I think they're brilliant. They were very, very good at the time. Now, if you remember back in 1987, or if you don't remember back in 1987, it was a fairly rough time for Doctor Who, really. We just had a hiatus of Doctor Who being off air for a period of time when Colin Baker was the Doctor. And it did come back with a trial of the Time Lord, and then it was decided that Colin Baker should no longer be the Doctor, and they cast Sylvester McCoy to replace him. So it was quite a tough time. In order to try and generate a lot more interest, the 25th anniversary was up and coming, and they did produce a load of episodes that all had previous characters making a return. The Daleks, of course, was one of those, and because of the 25th anniversary, Dapol was licensed to produce a full range of action figures. To which they did. They produced all of the current ones. So Sylvester McCoy was the current Doctor. Melanie Bush was the current companion. There was current monsters like the Tetrap. But they also went back and done some of the previous incarnations. So the previous Doctors were done: the William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker. I don't recall seeing a Peter Davison one or a Colin Baker one in this 1987 release. I could be wrong. They might have done them, but I don't remember seeing them. I know they've done a Peter Davison one later on. I can't remember ever seeing a Colin Baker one, but I'm presuming that they would have done one. And they also done a range of the of the earlier monsters. So obviously the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Sea Devils, the Ice Warriors, and so on. So there was a quite a large range of figures that they produced for the anniversary year. Now, the anniversary year was 1988, and these were all made in 1987 for that particular period. They did then do a second wave of figures, which was in 1989, and then they was due to do a third wave of figures in 1991. But unfortunately, they had a fire at their factory and they lost a lot of the moulds that they used to produce the Daleks. So the next actual wave of figures wasn't until 1996 or 1998. I can't remember exactly what year. It was 96 or 98 when they done the wave 3. And then finally, around about 2003, 2004, they produced some Dalek sets. Some Doctor Who sets, which contained multiples of the figures that had already been previously released. And that was just before the announcement of the new Doctor Who, of which then the license expired. And obviously we all know the history after that. The license went over to Character Options and the rest is history. Now, how well did these figures do? Well, back in 1987, we had no access to the internet. So the marketing of these figures for everyone to be able to get to them had to be good. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Now, Dapol were a model train manufacturer, and they sold all their model trains through specialist stores, and that's how they chose to sell the Doctor Who figures and merchandise and playsets and so on. So it was really through the specialist stores. So your stores like Forbidden Planet, those kind of specialist stores, you could find these readily available. Or exhibitions like the exhibition at Longley or the exhibition at Blackpool, you could go in there and you'd have a full range of Dapol merchandise there that you could buy. Unfortunately, that was it. You couldn't find these in regular stores. They weren't in your normal toy shops. So it was specifically a specialist store item. Or you could write to Dapol and you could ask for their mail order catalogue for Doctor Who, which you would be sent in the post, and you had an order form which you could fill in, send your check or postal order off to Dapol, and as soon as that had cleared, they would post you back your order. So usually about 28 days that took for your order to come back. So yeah, it was quite difficult to find the merchandise back in 1987. I do remember when I went to the Doctor Who convention at Longley for the 20th anniversary, finding merchandise like this was, you just couldn't. There was nothing there. And that was at Longley, a very, very big Doctor Who event. When I went back again 5 years later for the 25th anniversary one, there was loads and loads of Dapol merchandise. So yeah, that was a terrific time. So a story maybe for another time. Okay, so now we're talking 1987 to 2024. We're talking 47 years ago. So 47 years on, these figures are becoming incredibly difficult to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. Now, they do pop up from time to time on platforms, but they're usually out the cards, or they're terribly, terribly expensive. So finding them is becoming harder and harder. Obviously, as the years are going on, they're getting more and more difficult to find. But as usual, we at Motorised Touch have managed to find quite a few, and they're currently available to purchase on the Motorised Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find these and many other vintage Doctor Who items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that you're not going to want to miss this, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on these particular items. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.